we would like to know about your journey. Like, how did you aspire to be an IAS? Like, was that a dream since childhood?
Not really. I, in fact, decided quite late, almost in my final year of engineering.
Hmm.
And I had by that time I was already placed in Accenture in Bangalore,
Okay.
and I was supposed to join after completing my final semester.
Okay.
But then, I also by that time I had decided that I would be appearing for the civil services also. So I was in a dilemma whether to continue with the job and prepare, by the side, or give, full time to preparing for the civil services.
Okay.
So I decided otherwise, and then I went to Delhi for about 8 months. I did my both optionals there,
Hmm.
and came back to Pune. I did my general studies from there. Uh, Appeared in my first attempt where I cleared the prelims, but I could not clear the mains. And then I had to skip one attempt in between because I was not well and admitted to the hospital and all. And
Okay.
immediately after that, the next one that I gave, I cleared.
Okay.
So yeah, I never joined the private sector as such. Though I underwent a 1 month pre-service training kind of thing, which they have. I mean, they usually used to have in those days. I'm not sure if they have it right now, but
Okay.
most IT companies did have that. And I also did about a year, 6 months of internship in Tata Motors in Chinswad.
Okay. But I was considering that your father is an architect and mother is a businesswoman. So where did this thing came that you don't want?
My mother actually used to work for Central Bank of India.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
She left the job for health reasons,
Hmm.
and then later on shifted to the private sector.
Okay.
And my father was is still doing his professional practice. So yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, anyways, if I would not have appeared for the civil services, then I would have been somewhere in either the automobile industry or the IT sector. I'm not sure where. But so really not. I mean, I had no intention of ever,
Uh,
uh, continuing what
Continue.
my parents did. Yeah. So
Okay. And
it
what's
was anyways going to be a different thing.
yeah, but you chose what you really wanted to do instead of.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And Ayush, what has been the most challenging phase of your journey to become the IS?
It's actually those years when you are actually preparing, because I was preparing for almost 3 years. Uh, the first and the second attempt, and in between year, which I could not attempt. So
Hmm.
you have to sustain when all your batchmates are either going abroad
Yeah.
or shifting to Bangalore or Hyderabad or even Pune for that matter, or Mumbai. And they've already started earning. Many of them are now planning for masters or either MBA or MS or something of that sort. And you are still there, I mean, at the graduate level, and doing nothing except preparing for the services. Though I had a few friends who were also working and preparing for the services simultaneously. But then I always thought that it would be really very difficult for me to do that. I won't be able to give 100% either a place. And then I never wanted to give that kind of an haphazard, I mean, half-hearted attempt. And fortunately, it was no family compulsion that I had to work. For
Okay.
some, usually financial issues are also there, so they have to work. They have very little choice, regarding that. But fortunately, that was not the case for me. So I consider myself very fortunate that I was able to give in complete 3 years, because 3 years is actually as long a time as any post graduation.
Yeah. So you did initially feel the peer pressure, but then gradually things were.
Not peer pressure as such, but things do come to your mind at times. Yeah, you just have to find your way through it.
Yeah. Hmm. And Ayush, before Surat, you were the collector of. And did you see
Right.
the dichotomy of development in a single state, in the sense that the prosperous city is becoming more prosperous and the poor is becoming poorer? So, as a young IS, like, what are your thoughts about this? Do you see this as a challenge?
See, as far as it is a challenge, but as far as say Surat and Amreli is concerned,
Hmm.
uh, there are historical reasons for it.
Yeah.
Surat has always been well connected. Geographically, also it is well endowed
Hmm.
with lot of rainfall, a good port, which initially the Dutch exploited. Later on, the British set up, and even before that, the Mughal Empire also used to have its primary port over here. So it has always been a business hub, an industry hub, a trading hub. So you can't just ignore that about 2000 years of history.
Okay.
And whereas in case of Amreli, it has always been, it was Amreli actually has both. I mean, there used to be absentee landlords also called Girasdars who would control half the district, and the remaining 4 5 talukas were a prant of the Gaikwads. So Amreli had both, type of administrations, and it is a more drought prone area, a semi arid location, geographically very set aside from the normal historical routes of transportation and communication. So yes, that has always resulted that there was a lot of migration from Amreli, in fact, to Surat and Mumbai both.
Yeah.
And the majority of the diamond industry that you currently see in Surat, the diamond polishing industry, is either dominated by people from Amreli or from Bhavnagar,
Yeah.
who migrated there a few generations ago, and people are still doing that. I mean, so that fascination to go to Surat is also there, especially in areas of Saurashtra, and there is a long history of out migration in
Yeah.
almost all districts of Saurashtra. So yes, geographical things and historical things also play a big role. One cannot undo them, in a span of say 70, 75 years, which have a historical background of say 2500 years. So yes, that is difficult. But then I feel that agriculture has improved a lot in Amreli.
Hmm.
Cotton and groundnut have had, for the last, at least for the time period I was there, the MSP was really good. So and the rainfall was also very good during those years. So farmers have benefited, and the government policy also currently for both MSP of groundnut and cotton is really, really very good. And moreover, processing industries have come up in a big way. I
Yeah.
mean, cotton spinning and ginning mills in Amreli and oil mills are big in number.
Yeah.
So yes, things are improving definitely. In fact, I found the pace of development in Saurashtra is because there is no saturation as such. So
Yeah.
whatever new comes in is actually new. For a
Yeah.
place like Surat, you already have so big establishments over here. So you really need to do a lot of effort, and also private sector wise also the
Hmm.
private sector also has to put in a lot of effort just to see, because the ocean is so huge
Yeah.
that one or two drops really don't
Will
make a
not
difference
match.
for such a huge city like Surat. But whereas it was the exactly opposite in Amreli.
Yeah. So the pace of development is also better there.
Yeah, yes, it is because saturation is not there
Hmm.
here. Eventually, as cities grow, they always tend to because of the high base that they have,
Hmm.
you have to work harder and harder to see the growth that you want to. But yes, Surat is now getting quite a few big projects. The recently, you must have heard the riverfront project and the barrage that is coming up at the Tapti mouth has also been approved. So yes, things will definitely improve. Yeah.
And like, even though Surat is developing, many people have that Surat is not getting its due, in the sense that even for its diamond industry, it is largely dependent on Mumbai for its exports. Surat also does not have an airport which is as equipped as the one in Ahmedabad. In your opinion, do you think that
Yes.
it's not got its due?
Uh, the the first issue that you raised would be partially resolved once the diamond burj is up. The construction is going on at a very fast pace,
Hmm.
and almost 33 lakh square feet of trading space would be made available, which actually has already been sold out.
Okay.
And so I think diamond trading would now be completely shifted to Surat. Completely would not be an appropriate word, but at least to a large extent. And yes, the first issue would be resolved in say next 2.5 years. So I don't think that should be a problem anymore. As far as the airport is concerned, yes, if you compare it with Ahmedabad, then
Hmm.
the number of flights, the passenger handling capacity has a huge difference. But then that does happen because after all, Ahmedabad is close to the state capital. It is the biggest commercial city in the state. So it always traditionally also had a big airport. So that has made a difference. Surat was usually more connected to Mumbai as far as flights are concerned. So even if people would want to go to places abroad, they would rather prefer to go to from Mumbai rather than going to Ahmedabad and then flying out. So yes, but then Surat, the government has approved 353 crores, the government of India, and the upgradation of the airport is already underway. So the runway is being expanded, the tarmac is also being increased. The passenger handling facilities are almost going to triple in the next 2 years. So
That
yes,
will make
flights,
a big
hopefully flights
difference.
will also, yes, post COVID, I hope that the number of flights that had gone down would come back to normal, and then we would see a substantial rise, because since 2016-17 the passenger handling at Surat airport has risen by almost 40% every year,
Okay.
except for the COVID year,
Yeah. So in both the
which saw
issues, I mean,
steep steep fall. Yes, the airport will come up in a big way
yeah,
because the expansion work is already started, and there is no issue of funding, there is no issue of land, so it will complete as per schedule. Yeah,
true. So I think for both the issues, the solution is already work in progress.
already in place. Yeah, yeah, that way Surat has always been very innovative.
Yeah.
People here, yeah, and people here are really hardworking, and they are solution oriented. So
True.
they will find out solutions,
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
which way. Yeah.
True. And Ayush, as a collector of Surat, if you have to list down three major issues that you would want to address for the city, what would those issues be?
The Tapi Shuddhikaran project is one of the most ambitious projects that has been, in place. Almost 70% work is complete. Majority of the work is being done by the municipal corporation.
Okay.
So I don't have any direct contribution as such. But the industrial area adjoining to the city,
Yeah.
where affluent water is sent to the Tapi river, their STPs are being constructed. Obviously, government is giving free of cost land to these projects, and that is one of the biggest projects. Once completed, which I hope in the next 3 to 4 years it will be, Tapi will have not a single drop of untreated water entering its. Yeah.
That would really help.
So yes,
True.
yeah, it will. It will.
Are there any other issue that you would like to point out that you?
Yeah, then you must have heard of the government scheme of Suchit Society, wherein the irregular settlements that had taken place, say 15-20 years ago, prior to 2005, in fact, need to be regularized, so that large number of people who do not have title of their homes, people they've been staying there for 20-25 years and still cannot avail loan, cannot mortgage it, do not have a clear title, and resulting in disputes. So that the implementation of that scheme is one of the biggest priorities of the state government as of now. So yes, that is one of the short-term goals that we have in mind. We are conducting camps for that, and we hope that at least 3,000 families will benefit in the next year in that scheme. Yeah,
Even that will definitely help the people of the city. Uh,
yeah, it will.
It will definitely. Yeah, and Ayush, when it comes to the city as such, like it is a hub of diamond and textile businesses. So, as a collector, do you have any plans of facilitating them so that the business is smooth and there are no glitches?
The industrial new clusters are also coming up. The
Yeah.
government is making available more land to GIDC for
Hmm.
creating such clusters. The new textile policy is also in place, the 2019 textile policy. Moreover, the current export market for diamond is really doing good. So those things are already in place. As far as infrastructure is concerned, the bullet train is coming up. Land acquisition is being supervised by my office. The Mumbai Baroda Expressway is also coming up. The land acquisition is also being supervised by my office, and it is going, in fact, ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
We, by end of October, hopefully, we should be able to give 90% land possession to National Highway Authority as far as the expressway is concerned.
Yeah.
And as far as the bullet train is concerned, the land acquisition is almost complete. 98% of the land acquisition is already complete. So yes, both those projects will definitely help in the connectivity. And the government is also investing along with the private sector in Hazira, in giving a dedicated railway connectivity to the port, which normally with traditionally Hazira never had. So, and which other ports do. So it will help in reducing the cost of transporting cargo.
Yeah.
And the dedicated freight corridor is also passing through Surat, for which the work has almost completed.
Yeah. And I was like
So infrastructure wise also Surat is going to
developing
be
and
benefited a lot. Yeah, lot.
we'll see the results in a couple of years, be it for the airport or
Absolutely.
for the other infrastructure projects. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like the transfer from Amreli to one of the important cities of Gujarat, at Surat. So, what has this transfer changed for you personally?
Personally, in the sense, yeah, work hours have definitely gone up,
Okay.
because Surat is quite challenging, and you have to balance between the office work that you have and the field visits and the other projects that you need to monitor. Because being such largely populated district, I mean the second largest populated district of the state. So yes, there are a lot of issues. There is a lot of migrant population, so they have their own issues.
Yeah.
Lot of uh, basic services that the government has to provide in a very efficient way in the city, such as the implementation of the National Food Security Act.
Hmm.
Uh, so yes, that throws up its own challenges, because male migrant population is also very high.
Hmm.
People usually working in these textile mills and other places, they don't migrate with their families.
So, is that
So
a prime issue that you would want to focus on?
we have already, I mean, this has been addressed by my predecessors also, and currently we are doing pretty good as far as NFSA is concerned.
Hmm.
We have about 98% other verified transactions.
Okay.
So that helps us keep a tab on pilferage of subsidized food grains, and we can ensure that they actually go to the people who they're intended to. The government of India has come up with a really very good scheme called One Nation One Ration Card. You must have heard about it. So it is kind of interoperability that we currently have in mobile service operators. So
Okay.
similarly, we would be having similar interoperability between ration cards issued in different states. The only condition would be that they should be Aadhaar verified.
Yeah.
So, say for an example, a person migrating from Uttar Pradesh or Bihar or Odisha to Surat, he can use his ration card, which is an Aadhaar verified one, and get it ported to Surat and start immediately getting his due ration
Wow.
from Surat itself, instead of having to go through the entire process of deleting his name in his native district and then coming here. And because these people are, they live in accommodations where they do not have any title. So identification proofs also are at times very difficult to produce. So in such cases, it is really difficult for the local administration here also to issue them new ration cards.
And I'm sure this step will definitely
So
help.
this, yeah, this scheme was set specifically devised for the migrant population, the needy migrant, and it will really help. We've already started working on that. About 15,000 ration cards have already been registered for that, and very soon, say about in a year's time, any person wanting to port his ration card from his native district to Surat will be able to do so in a span of 3 to 4 working days.
Wow.
So that would really help in getting them their due food grains.
Well, many congratulations to you for working on this issue, which needed attention
Yeah,
so badly. Yeah.
yeah.
And lastly, I mean, tell us that in comparison to other states, youngsters like students in Gujarat do not aspire to join civil services. So, what do you think about this, and how can it
That
be?
is actually really changing.
Hmm.
When we joined the services in my batch, I
Hmm.
can say that there were 2 insider positions in the IAS out of 5. 3 were outsider seats. So out of those 2 insider seats, only one could be filled.
Yeah.
The second one then was migrated to an outsider
Okay.
because there was no candidate available to fill the insider vacancy. But now is not the case. All the batches that have recently passed out
Yeah.
and who've been allotted Gujarat cadre, we would see a substantial number of local Gujarati boys and girls who have performed really well. One thing that has really helped is that the state government has tried to modify its state board syllabus in consonance with the CBSE NCRT syllabus.
Hmm.
So that has really helped, because
True.
that is one thing that helps students to appear in a better and a much more efficient manner with much less effort in any all India competitive exam,
True.
be it the UPSC or any other one.
True. Yes, I'm sure that
So yeah, so that really helps, and that has actually helped. You can see that on the ground.
the
And
results are
moreover, the
evident.
region, yes, the reason and the regional study centers that the state government has set up, that has also helped a lot. So I think it is just a matter of time,
Hmm.
and and all those candidates who are already appearing for the state services or any of the local exams that are carried out for different government posts in the state, they would also start appearing for civil services at at the national level,
Yeah.
because as new students pass out in the modified syllabus of the state board, then it would be really easy for them. Yeah,
True. True.
because what used to happen was that the state board syllabus used to be very different. Then they would again have to start from reading all NCRTs right from standard 5. That would also cause a lot of inconvenience, waste a lot of time
Yeah.
and energy of the candidate.
True.
So yes, one thing good that has happened is that this year, for the first time, we've been I've been allotted a UPSC prelims exam center for Surat. So
Yeah.
now Gujarat will be having 3 preliminary exam centers, one at Ahmedabad, Rajkot, and now Surat.
True.
So that is a big thing for students of South Gujarat and northern districts of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
Um,
This is definitely
so
a
that they
welcome
don't have
change,
to.
and I'm sure
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The exam will be conducted in October though. but then students will not have to travel to Ahmedabad or Mumbai
Yeah.
and stay for the night. But many of them are not financially capable also. Many of them don't have relatives there, for free accommodation. So then they have to stay somewhere outside.
True.
So that unnecessary burden has now been, removed.
Used.
So at
True.
least the southern districts of the state and the adjoining districts of other states, they would really be, helpful.
Yeah.
And
Great.
we hope that someday we get a mains exam center also. So,
True. Yes.
yeah.
Hoping for the best.
One of the most prestigious, one of the most prestigious exams of the country. So having a center in your city is really a big thing.
Big thing. Yeah. And we hope for the same. Yeah. So
Mm.
I thank you so much for your time, for
Thank
elaborately
you. Yeah,
answering
thanks
our.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.